Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. We have a special guest today from right here in Clayton, Ohio. I'd like to introduce to all of you Mike Moyer, the owner of First Light Home Care. Welcome, Mike.
Hello, thank you, Ted.
Hey, Mike, your company has been around for quite a while. I've worked with you and your assistants for many years. Tell us a little bit about your personal background first. How did you manage to get into the home care business?
Oh, that's a great question, an interesting one. I was in construction all my life. My grandfather was in the asphalt business, and I did that with my family. Pretty much, they say I was born with an asphalt lute in my hand, and I did that throughout most of my life. And in 2009, we were approached as a family about an opportunity in the home care industry, and so as a family, we kind of went and started exploring it, and I was really excited about it at the time in 2009, 2010, and my father and I went and took our certified senior advisor, and I got back from that really excited about it. And then I was like, ooh, I don't know much about the home care industry, and I'm really comfortable in the construction industry. So in 2010, I stayed back, but my mother and father opened First Light Home Care, and I believe September of 2010, and I stayed in the construction industry. Fast forward to about 2017, 2018, I was going through a period in my life that I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I remembered how touching it was in 2009, 2010 to learn more about that industry. So my parents were kind of on their way out of First Light Home Care and the senior industry, so I came over and started doing some consulting with the Caregivers and the operations manager at the time, and I fell in love with what we do. Caregivers started walking through the door, and I was like, found out what they did and how they supported the senior community and anybody that needed help at home, and I just fell in love with it. So I approached my parents in 2008 and asked if I could buy the company off of them, and lo and behold, 2 months later they came back to me and said that they would do that. And so I bought the company in 2018, and couldn't be happier. Every day I love waking up and coming in here and trying to really, I would say trying to take care of the seniors, but for me it's more about the caregivers and their experience and what they do, and they're some of the neatest people that I've ever met, and I love engaging with them every day.
Great story. Your parents still with us today?
They're still with us today. They're retired, enjoying retirement. They're out on the road. They bought an RV, and they go out on the road and pop in every now and again and check on their boys. My brother still runs the construction end, and I run the home care industry now.
Well, let's talk about First Light then. Tell me, you've had a great history. You've been around a while. Let's talk about today. What does First Light look like? Who do they serve? Where do they serve? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, First Light in general is a franchise. They're located out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I personally own 4 territories from Sydney in the north to about Westchester in the south on the 75 corridor, and then from Brookville, Eaton on the west side all the way over to the east side of Springfield on the 70 corridor. So Greater Dayton is what we call it. Serve the senior. We typically serve the senior population, but really anybody over 18 that needs help. I know we have a college student that needs help kind of getting ready for her day. We serve her all the way up to 101-year-old in that territory.
And in terms of the company itself, you say you've got 4 territories. How does the territory part of a franchise, how does that impact the clients you serve?
Tell me a little bit more, Ted.
So do you have 4 separate offices, or is it all a coordinated effort out of one location? Talk to me a little bit about how somebody would communicate with First Light if they're in, say, Sydney versus if they're in Mason.
Okay. Yeah. We have a centralized office here in Clayton, Ohio, and then we have satellite offices that we operate out of. We have one down in the Centerville area. We co-op with somebody in Springfield that we can do, but we operate out of basically a central location here in Clayton, and then we recruit caregivers in the local cities throughout all 4 of our territories so that they don't have far to travel to get there.
Gotcha. So what does the company look like? How many employees you got? How many caregivers you got? How many people are you serving these days?
We have about 65 caregivers currently. Every Tuesday we do an orientation, and typically those look like 3 to 5 caregivers that we hire. We serve about 80 clients right now, and we serve veterans, we serve Medicaid, and we serve private clients that just call us. We have a community relations specialist that is out there in the community talking to people and letting them know kind of what we do, and we get the referrals that way.
So does the community relations specialist, that's the person who kind of interacts with somebody like me or my clients to advise them on what you offer and what are the rules of the road, so to speak, and what the costs are?
Correct. Yep. She's out in the community meeting with people like yourself, some of the facilities that are out there. She has a lot of places to hit, pretty much everybody. That's because that's been one of the challenges in our industry, is that there's a lot of people that don't even know what home care is.
Well, let's talk about that. Yeah. Why don't you explain that?
Yeah, it's the facilities, all the assisted living facilities, independent living facilities. Most people know those are out there. They've been around for a really long time. They're great facilities. They work well for a lot of people. Home care, it's not necessarily new, but it's new enough that people don't understand that where they've lived their entire lives, they can stay there and have somebody come in and help them do the same things that they've been doing. In their home, in the place that they call home, whether that is a facility or whether it's an apartment or a house, anywhere that they call home, we can come in and help them.
So what are the kind of things that your caregivers help people with?
Yeah, we train them on everything. Dementia care is a really big one right now. Any clients with dementia or Alzheimer's, and that's, there's a lot that comes with that. But mostly helping them get up and out of bed and ready for their day, get dressed for the day, help them to the restroom if they need it, help them bathe or shower. Mobility, we take them for walks, we play games with them, some companionship there. We can do some transport to and from, errand running, incontinence care. Yeah, pretty much anything to stay independent. Now, it is, because we are home care, it is non-medical. It's considered non-medical, so anything that really breaks the skin or medications, we do not do that.
So if somebody is at home and does need help with medication, but they want to stay home and they want to bring in somebody to help them care, how does that medication piece of it handled?
We work really closely with a couple different agencies. They're called home health agencies, and they are the medical side of it. So we can get them. We do have an RN on staff that can help coordinate those things as well. But we work closely with home health agencies, so we can contact a home health agency and have that nurse come in and work with us. And we work really close with hospice as well. So all of the industries within the senior in-home care, home health, we are considered home care, and hospice work really closely together and complement each other really well.
So what are the circumstances or situations that are not appropriate for home care?
If it's high medical, if they have wounds, but I say that, but we do still have a lot of clients that have wounds, and we help them with all the other stuff. So really, Ted, I don't think there is a circumstance where home care wouldn't be appropriate.
I guess in those circumstances where somebody needs more extensive skilled type care, would that be something that probably is not suitable for home care?
Yes, yeah, that's a good point. If it's very intensive, skilled type care, they would be better off probably in a facility where they can get that immediate attention. Now, we do have 24/7 care. We have, I believe, 3 clients right now that receive around-the-clock care, where we have a caregiver there all the time. Typically, in those situations, they are also working with hospice, so they can take care of some of those skilled things. But yeah, I don't. If it's very, very high need, then we're probably not appropriate.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. Talk to me a little bit about your caregivers. You said that's kind of your focus, and I certainly am very appreciative of the fact that that the owner of the company would focus in on the caregivers because they are the most important piece of what you do. How do you go about selecting them to make sure that they are appropriately trained and educated to be able to provide this level of care?
Well, it starts with, I believe it starts with our office personnel, our client care coordinator who kind of goes out and does a start of care with the clients and tries to match the caregivers up. She was a caregiver at a facility for years, had her STNA. Our scheduler was a caregiver for years, has her STNA. Our community relations manager is a caregiver for years. So we try to elevate the people that we've had, and they know what to look for in the care. So when we're hiring, when we're interviewing, when we're hiring, that they know what to look for, what to ask, and how to talk about that. And then our orientation specialist, the person that does the orientation and the training, was a caregiver for us for about 4 years. And, on time, we got great compliments from the clients, so we elevated her to the trainer. So she has her STNA, which is a state-tested nursing assistant, and she takes them over. We have a great training facility with all the things that you might find in a home, and we do about a 6-hour orientation. We do fingerprint background checks, reference checks, drug screening, and go through the whole process before we ever put them in a home.
Sounds like there's an extensive background check on the individuals you hire.
There is, and there are very stringent requirements that if anything is on there, then there are exclusionary periods that if something comes up on your record, there might be a 5-year exclusionary that we can't hire you. So we just let you know, hey, this is happening. Come back in 5 years, and we'll maybe give it another shot. But yes, there are definitely requirements that we have to make sure that these people are safe in the senior's home.
Do you have any circumstances or situations in which a caregiver is spending the night at a house? You indicated you have 3 cases where you're doing 24/7 care. I suspect they have to sleep at some point.
Technically, they're not supposed to sleep. There are some circumstances. Okay. I've been out on a case before where there was a 24/7, and I fill in for shifts, and she said, "No, I'm going to bed. You go to bed. Like, I don't need you." Like, she just wanted companionship over the night. So in that instance, I sat at the kitchen table and just tried to stay awake, but every once in a while I'd lay my head down. But yeah, no, they stay awake. So we try to schedule them for just the night shift. They're supposed to sleep in the morning, and it's like a third shift. And they stay awake because a lot of those people that are the 24/7s, they will get up in the middle of the night and need to go to the restroom or need to do something. So we're there to assist with that when they wake up.
Well, I know everybody wants to talk about costs, so let's talk about private pay first. What is the range of what somebody's looking like in terms of cost? Are there minimum costs or the minimum hours? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have no minimum hours at First Light Home Care. Some agencies do have minimum hours, which makes a lot of sense. Now, when we say we don't have minimum hours because we don't, but if you want a 1 hour, oftentimes that's a bathroom. You need to just bathe the person or shower them. So we'll come in, give them a quick bath or shower. That ranges from $45 to $55 an hour. And it's just a 1 hour quick thing. If you want 2 hours, it's $45 an hour in our industry. It's about, and anything 3 hours and up is anywhere from $30 to $35 an hour. And that goes from 3 hours all the way up to that 24/7.
And how are people billed? Is there an upfront charge? Is there a deposit? Do you bill them weekly, monthly? How does that work?
Currently, there is no deposit. There's no upfront. We would come in, our client care coordinator would come in and explain all the rules, go over all the paperwork, your responsibilities, my responsibilities, get that paperwork signed. And then from there, there is no obligation, right? If you decide that you don't need anything, you don't get it, you can schedule us a month out. You can schedule us Monday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Monday or whatever you want, and then we bill you weekly. It's a simple invoice that goes out. We can do ACH or we can do a check or credit card, whatever the most convenient is for the client.
Now, there are some government benefits out here. Let's talk briefly about those. My firm helps people qualify for Medicaid benefits and for VA aid and attendance benefits. I'm assuming you work with those programs as well.
We do. Yeah, we have a very good relationship with the VA here in Dayton. They send us referrals over the fax. We get all their information. We call them and schedule the visit. My RN handles all of the VA, and she'll go out there and do a starter care with the VA, and then we bill the VA. There's nothing on the client at that point. They get a certain amount of set hours within the VA that the VA decides, and we send the caregiver out to meet that need. And within our scheduling software, there's what's called EVV in this industry. It's electronic visit verification. So the caregivers clock in on an app, and it shows up at their exact clock-in time, and they clock out when they're done. And that's to ensure that they're getting the care that they need. And then Medicaid, the Area Agency on Aging in Dayton is who handles that. And it works the same way. The agency sends us referrals. We reach out to the client. So what's really nice about all of those programs and the private pay is it's very client directed. They can say, these are the hours that I want, these are the days I want. Nobody tells you when we're going to be there. It's all up to the client.
Is the Medicaid assistance program that you primarily work with at home, is it the Passport program?
It is the Passport program, yes, sir.
Yeah. And on the VA side, is it almost always the aid and attendance benefit that you're shooting for?
Not at this point. At this point,
Okay.
It's all coming from the doctors. The aid and attendance is something that we try to, like you and your firm, we try to ask the appropriate questions and see if it's an extra benefit that they could qualify for. But right now, it's directed by doctor's orders.
So in terms of the current caseload that you have, the 80 folks you talked about, what would your guess be in terms of the number of those that are straight private pay?
Straight private pay, I believe right now, I would say about 60% of all of our clients are straight private pay.
Okay, very good. Now, something else I want to talk about. In terms of home care, what are the issues, the tough issues, that a firm like yours is dealing with? Where are the real hot button issues that we should talk a little bit about?
Real hot button issues right now, Ted, is I think a lot of industries are with, is just hiring great caregivers, the good help at the bottom, and getting people to recognize, this is and it's not recognized, I should take that back. This is a very specific industry, and I had to learn that really quickly about who it takes as a human to be a caregiver. It's all heart. I mean, it's a difficult job. I mean, like I said, when I started, I told all my scheduler and everybody, like, hey, I'm happy to go out and care for somebody, but I can't do personal care. I can't do that incontinence care, helping change the pins, give them showers and stuff. And I went to a few clients, and eventually that happened to me, honestly. So sorry to go back and talk about myself, but I went to a client's house, and we had an instance where I had to step up. And I'll tell you, Ted, after I did that job, it was actually one of the more rewarding things in my life to leave there knowing that we did it together, me and the client, with integrity, and that's what they needed. It's hard to get past that hurdle in your head that you're helping somebody like that. So to find people with that mindset and that heart to really help people in need is a surprisingly difficult thing. The other thing is, with that generation and with the senior generation right now, I think to help them understand that it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to have a stranger in your home, because they won't be a stranger very long. The people, that's why I said when I started meeting these caregivers, I mean, they're not strangers. They're just some of the most compassionate people you'll ever meet. And that's a hurdle to get the elderly to understand that they won't be a stranger long, and they're just there to help you.
Fascinating. Well, if somebody wants to contact First Light, and what's the process? Who do they call? Who do they meet with? How do they evaluate your company and whether it's appropriate for them?
Yeah, great question. Again, with our community relations manager, they can call, we have a website that they can go to that has a corporate number, and
What's the website?
the website is www.northwestnwdayton.firstlighthomecare.com. It's a little.
Could you give me that one more time?
Yeah, it's www.nwdayton.firstlighthomecare.com. Or they can call our office at 937-836-9624. Everybody that answers the phone here, we do answer our phone live 24/7. After hours, somebody live will call. Now that one goes to a call center, but it is immediately, we are on call 24/7, and you'll get a call back within about 10 minutes from somebody in our office. Everybody here is trained to do an intake and ask the proper questions. The way we've set it up here too is to be a resource, not just a company that serves you. We will spend the time to find what you do need. If we're not appropriate for you and you do need that skilled care, we work closely with a few. We'll give you a few of those numbers. If you need to go into a facility, there's a few of them that we can recommend. But we also recommend you do a lot of due diligence in this, from a home care agency to a facility to anybody else. But everybody in the office is skilled to do an intake. So we would ask all the questions. How'd you hear about us? What do you need? Who's calling? Who's the service for? Because as you probably know, a lot of times it is the son or daughter that is dealing with this. And sometimes it's a crisis. They don't know that they've needed this until they know that they've needed it. So it's pretty immediate. And then that always goes to our client care coordinator. Her name is Emmeline. And she will contact the client, come out to your house. Usually takes about half an hour to an hour to do the assessment. They do a safety assessment of your home, and really at that point is when we make sure that it's right for you, that you have a clear understanding of what it is that you're signing up for, and if you truly want to do it. And what I've found is that it brings a lot of peace of mind to a lot of people to stay in the place that they've known for so many years. And then we let them know that. They sign up for the services, let us know exactly what they want. That all goes back to our scheduler. Our scheduler talks to our client care coordinator to see what exactly they need. We kind of go through all of our caregivers and see who has availability and who has the skills and the kind of personality to match up. Because I'm sure, as you know, there's a lot of personalities in the senior industry. So we try to find the right personality to kind of be able to handle whoever it is. And then we get them on the schedule, call the client and make sure they're good with the schedule and let them know who's coming out. We do an introduction. Our elite caregiver, we call her, goes out and introduces the first caregiver to the client to make sure that it is a good match, stays there for about half an hour, make sure that everything is getting done properly, and then it goes on from there.
Boy, that's all good information, Mike. I really appreciate you being with us today. We've run out of time, but boy, great conversation. I know most of my clients would much prefer to stay at home. The issue is whether they can have the help that they need in order to be able to do that. It sounds like your company is able to accomplish that and do it very well. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks so much, Ted. I appreciate the conversation.